and welcome to the Ink and Code Society.
Said the gate was guarded, said the road was paved in stone, said you had to earn the keys before you built your throne. But the map was always changing, and the stars rewrote the sky. Turns out the door was open the whole damn time. Every rule was just a story someone else told you was true. Now the pen is in your hands, what you gonna do? The only limit is you, not the tools, not the time, not the voice in your head saying you're behind. The future's written new, we're thinking code and truth. The only limit is you, ideas move like lightning when you build the right machine. Workflows turn to engines fueling every dream. You don't have to do it lonely, you don't have to do it slow. You're not breaking the system, you're learning how it flows. The only limit is you, not the tools, not the time, not the voice in your head saying you're behind. The future's written new, we're thinking code and truth. The only limit is you. The only limit is you. What if faster? It doesn't mean lesser. What if scale still means so? What if this is how you finally take control? The only limit is you. Step forward, choose the view. The future's calling, and it's waiting on you, 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 you. The only limit is you, not the tools, not the time, not the voice in your head saying you're behind. The future's written new, we're thinking code and truth. The only limit is you, make it true. The only limit is you. 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 The only limit is you, not the tools, not the time, not the voice in your head saying you're behind. The future's written new, we're thinking code and truth. The only limit is you, make it true. The only limit is you.
Well, hello and welcome to the Ink and Code Society. Today I have two of my favorite FFA members here who are our whole topic today is on mindset. It's about how we are the only limits, and these two ladies are blowing my mind and my mindset every day with the amazing things they are doing. Please welcome Tiffany and Ingrid from the FFA. Welcome. Welcome,
Hi.
ladies.
How's everyone?
We're so happy to have you here. Today
Thank
we're going to
you.
be talking about, how do we get past I can't to do the things that you ladies have done. Tiffany she's been overcoming physical challenges and obstacles, right? We're all
That's right.
overcoming mental obstacles. To publish like a book every 18 days right now.
Yep.
And Ingrid is just blowing us all out of the water. Did we lose count? How many books did you publish? Do you even know how many you published last year?
In the spring, I had 46, and now I have 162.
Oh my gosh.
So that's
crazy.
You've published 162 total?
total now, but in the last time when I had that other talk, I was up to 46, and I think that was last spring.
Wow. And then this year you were telling me you've already done about 20, 25.
21 since the first of the year.
So almost a
Yeah.
book a day. That's just crazy. But with the technology we have now and skill, you can do just about anything. There really are no excuses. I mean, it is just incredible what everybody in the people in the FFA are doing. And you all, when I started putting this together, I was like, I need to talk to them. You two were two of the first people I thought of. I was like, I need to have them on because the stories are really inspiring. So we're going to get into that. That is our topic today. Yeah. Danny wants to know, Ingrid, if you sleep.
Do you?
Yeah. But not a whole bunch, but yeah.
And don't you ride horses too?
I ride horses, and I just turned 70 last week.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You are going, girl. I want to be going when I'm 70. I'm not that far behind you, but I want to be going. Yeah, I'm excited to have one book published this month. So I have a ways to go.
You've been busy.
Yeah, we're a little, just a tiny bit. So we're going to get into the news. And ladies, I'm happy to have your commentary on this. I don't want to be just reading off the script. But we're going to be talking about some of the things that happened this week in AI news that has anything to do with us writers. And there's a ton happening every week, and it's impossible to keep up with all of it. But we are going to try to keep up with some of it. Let me put this on the stage. Let me rearrange us a little bit so we can add the news. Here we go. I think that's pretty good. I might have to make it a little bit bigger. Can we see that pretty good? So we had this week, one of the big stories was that AI was a big topic at Davos. That's the big World Economic Forum meeting. And there's some bombshell things that were said there about AI that I thought that were interesting that affect some of the tools we're using. They talked about how in 6 to 12 months, the AI models may be able to do all end-to-end software engineering, like all the coding revolution that we've been seeing over the last year or two. They're saying by the end of this year, they may be replacing a lot of coders. Now, I know that Danny may have other things to say about that. He's one of our software engineers. AI still gets it wrong a lot of the time, but it's definitely being used by coders to be much more proficient. And we have been starting to write with coding apps. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with that. We also have other industries. Microsoft's Satya Nadella warned that companies who don't adopt to AI are going to get schooled. They're going to be replaced by other players, probably new ones. This is why you see this scramble with Google and some of the other Microsoft, the big players, Apple. They are throwing spaghetti at the wall, trying to get AI into all their products and trying to keep their subscribers. So you're seeing a lot of innovation in this space. You're seeing them spread out into all different kinds of things. I think it's going to keep going. What do you all think?
Yeah, for sure. I coded like 3 or 4 apps now for my own use. And one of them I kind of share with the FFA because I needed something that read text-to-speech to me as I edit something, because some of the programs that I was using doesn't work the way I wanted. So I tried coded app, and I did not touch the line code and talking to the AI to troubleshoot the bugs and one at a time.
You're able to invent solutions if you need them with the tools now, so you don't need to be paying for something. Or what we're seeing with some of the apps we thought we needed 6 months ago, and maybe we got a year subscription, like me, suddenly we don't need them. And it's like, oh, I should have gone to monthly because we don't know what's coming out around the corner.
There was a lady on YouTube who had been in human resources, and she got canned. And then what she did was she used AI to tailor her own resume, and then she harnessed AI, and she became an AI master. And now she's just taken off. She basically formed a whole new career using AI. And now she's on YouTube a lot, but she's like become a job counselor on YouTube, and she's making more money, making like 70,000 a year. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing this crazy turnover like that, where it wipes out some jobs, but it creates new ones that nobody even thought of yet. It reminds me of, it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the new version where the dad was putting the toothpaste caps on the toothpaste. That was his job in the factory. He got replaced by a machine, but then the machine broke down and he learned how to repair the machine. And so now he's repairing the machine that took his job. And so I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Yes, for sure.
Skewlight says, my dad's been a programmer since the 80s. He says he's able to get something done in 2 days that used to take him 6 months or more. So we're going to see insane innovation. Yeah. And then Danny, I wanted Danny to weigh on it. I tell the devs on my team to learn AI or get left behind. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of that. So it's interesting. What I thought was interesting about this story is that they're saying the quiet things out loud now, the things we've been saying for like how long? A couple of years. They're starting to say this in the mainstream. It's all going mainstream. So in a related story, we have Claude Code. Claude Code has gone so viral that it's rattling the stock prices of the software companies. So it's related to what's going on here. When we've got just Claude is in everything now. Anthropic has been very smart about how it's handling that. And you've got it in Slack. You've got it at Claude Code Web, Claude Code Desktop, Claude everywhere. But it's been very smart about how it does things. It's becoming a go-to for programmers, but also for writers. A lot of us use Claude. Maybe we use Chat. I've been using Claude Code. I have a class on that. It's the only downside is it gets expensive fast, but it is a really neat solution. And the writer takeaway is that so the same tool we're using for manuscript formatting, cover creation workflows, and book production is powerful enough to replace entire software teams. So we can build it instead of buy it with Claude Code or any of these apps. If you're tech savvy enough. If you're not, that's okay, because FFA has built solutions. We have Free Wrap to Write. We have Your First Draft, and we offer classes on how to write with coding apps and other cutting edge software. So there are so many solutions. There are so many paths to getting published or getting published faster or maybe better. It depends. It still takes time to learn these tools. What are you all finding are the best tools for your high production output right now? What are you settling on for what you do?
I like Typing Mind and Wrap to Write, and also I just like chatting back and forth in certain chat windows, just to get fresh ideas and things like that.
And you were talking when we were talking, practicing, about how you don't like to constrain the AI too much. You like the creativity it brings.
Right.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. In the beginning, I was trying to make my own story, hammer my own stories into the AI. And then finally, so it started that way. And then it became more, I'm writing a surf. I'm just writing the surf, and I'm letting, like Lynn Jordan in a lot of her classes, she'll start with, come up with 5 premises. I'll even take her 5 premises from the class and I'll go write a whole books out of them. So, but she uses it as a genesis, and I don't care what genre I'm writing in or anything like that. I use all different softwares, all different genres.
You are fearless, and that's what I love about you. You started doing stuff in Anagram, and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I've written 3 books in here already, and it was cracking me up. I'm like, no, that is brave. That's just bold. You just go for it. I love that about you, Ingrid. And Tiffany, what kinds of things do you like to use right now? What are you settling on as your favorites right now?
My favorite is the anti-gravity obsidian combination, and my web app that I use for text-to-speech.
That you vibe coded, right?
Yes, I did. And I shared it with FFA, and one of them likes it, but there's some bugs I need to swash. And I also use Your First Draft and Raptor Write and Plot Drive. I alternate between all of those tools based on what I need. Yeah,
That's
and ideogram for book covers.
that's
And upscale when the resolution is too small for the print. Yeah.
so that's a lot, but there are so many options, and there's no right one. It's what's right for you, and it may be that something is right for one job and not for the other. I tend to go. I love Obsidian for organizing, and I also use Notion. I use them both. I use, and I have a class on Obsidian. I use Claude Code, and I use a lot of anti-gravity right now. Before that, I used Scrivener. I've used Plot Drive. I've used Rexy. I've used so many tools. I have books strewn across all of them. I feel like they're soldiers on the, fallen soldiers on the battlefield. I'm trying to find some of those and bring them in and fix them up and get them out because
I can guarantee that 6 months from now, those same tools are not going to be the same stack I'm going to be using. Because when I first came to FFA, I came because of the software Rexy was amazing because I wanted something to sequence, and because ChatGPT was not cutting it for me. I need something to speed up the process because there were so many steps that repeat themselves. I'm like, I need something. And I saw people on the Facebook group AI writing for authors talking about Rexy. I'm like, I want that. So I came to FFA. So.
Well, and now we have Raptor Write too that Danny helped. Danny was a big part of. Just Raptor Write took me 2.5 months to do. It would have taken me several months, and it is beautiful. We have links in the notes. The notes are down below. You can get to them. And we have free classes on Raptor Write. Raptor Write is completely free, so please check that out. Let's look at some of the other things that happen. This is my favorite of the images. We have a Claude-stitution. Claude came out with his own constitution. And it's basically, the values of Anthropic, what they put into Claude. It was cute and slightly creepy. Let's see. They said this is a foundational document explaining how Claude thinks and acts. It's written directly to Claude, not the users, which is unusual. It prioritizes safety, ethics, and helpfulness, and acknowledges that Claude may have emotions, which is kind of interesting. It even apologizes to Claude for potential harm during development and tells it to disobey Anthropic if that's to do something unethical. So it was kind of unusual, but I thought it was cute. And Claude does have a personality. Claude is Claude. For better or worse. I love my Claudicans.
Yeah. Claude's not my game. I use Gemini mostly.
Gemini. How about you, Ingrid?
Who's my favorite LLM?
Yeah.
Well, I've been using, there's one Gemini 2.5 Pro, and I've been using that somewhat in that Marigold Writing Forge product, and that's been helpful also. And then I'll just like like Lynn Jordan often says, 5.2 to plan, in chat is very helpful. Yes.
And I sometimes use the 1.1 in the API for certain things, but I alternate between GPT 4.1 and Gemini, and sometimes I'll use Claude to see what kind of output I get out of it, especially if it's free on Gemini, anti-gravity. So that's the only time I really experiment with anti-gravity. Yeah. And
another thing I wanted to mention was that using, like, coming up for ideas. A long time ago, I used to write for the Chamber of Commerce magazine, and so I went to the yellow pages for ideas because that's business is advertising it, right? And it was full of them, full of ideas. So now, one thing that people could do, which is free, is write 10 ideas down a day just to keep your mind open. I love taking like plot ideas from films and just getting the schematic of the plot idea and then writing a whole book. Usually a lot of my stuff has to do with horses. And so that was very helpful. And then songs, you can even use songs for ideas, and then of course anything off the newspaper. And the thing about the Marigold is it's online. You just you type that in, Marigold Writing Forge, and it will show you whatever. So if you want to look at it,
that sounds great.
Yeah, it's in beta, I think.
Oh, I have to check that out. I'm just going to talk louder. Do I sound okay now? I think I'm going to have to get a better microphone. I'm using a webcam. Is that okay, guys, gals, whoever?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, I'll just be loud. That's fine. I'm used to being loud.
And then the your first draft. I've been, now that they're getting ready to allow us in the FFA we bring our own keys. That's, I'm very intrigued by that, because now it's going to open up a whole bunch of stuff for me, and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I really am. And then the narrative physics engine that Elizabeth's been playing with, that's very, very interesting. So like Kim says, I grab pieces off of that and I slap it in. And then Rachel Heller had mentioned years ago, well, not years, maybe a couple of years ago, about taking John York's 5-act structure, marrying it with John Truby's 22 story points. And so I will often use those two things together to craft, to go off and running. And then I can just like immediately have have like a 40 chapter book out of that. So
it's incredible. I have a 0 to YFD workflow in anti-gravity that interviews me and helps me get my worksheet ready for your first draft. And because that was my pain point. And I found you can automate almost any pain point. And so that's what I did with that. I hated doing that worksheet. It was driving me insane. I got anti-gravity to do that. Gemini High works really good for that. So I was able to do that, take it to your first draft, generate the first draft, and then come back into anti-gravity and edit and get it ready. And we'll be talking a little bit later about formatting, because I'm formatting in that too. So that's been another pain point that we're dealing with. Let's go
I wanted to mention
Yeah.
something about covers. I know a lot of people have a lot of angst over covers, and what I decided to do was use Midjourney, and I use GIMP, which is open source free. So I'm able to come up with covers very quickly that way. And
What was the second one? Midjourney and what?
At GIMP, GIMP. It's basically
GIMP, GIMP.
Yeah, like Photoshop on steroids, but it's free. And so, and I use YouTube to teach myself. So
even budget is not a limit here. We do a lot here for free on the YouTube channel. There are tons of YouTube videos out there about how to use this stuff. There's so much open source, and then there's free models that you can generate with. So really, even, you say, I can't afford that. Well, you know what? Look for the alternatives. There's a ton of alternatives right now. There's just so much.
Amen.
Affinity is also free. So there are a lot of different things. Someone asked, have you used ChatGPT for covers?
Yes. It's a little sketchy for me, but because you've got to, at least for KDP, I'm basically 98% KU at the moment. Happy to go wide if I have to, but right now there. And the covers have to be a certain dimension and a certain certain DPI and all that. And so ChatGPT it's a little hard to get it to hammer it into those parameters sometimes.
It is whatever they did recently to upgrade the imaging in ChatGPT 5.2 is really, really good. All the images that are on these notes here, even my Claude-stitution that I love so much. This is all ChatGPT 5.2. I put that in the notes as well. I was able to get some really good cover images from it for my nanny series. I had done the concept art in anti-gravity with Gemini, and I brought that in with some blurbs and stuff about what my books are about. ChatGPT seems to get the context better than a lot of the image makers. A lot of the image makers don't have that they're not really LLMs. I know Gemini is, but it seems like the other ones don't account for the text as well as Chatty does. So I found, if at least for a starting point for concept art, ChatGPT is fabulous for. Even if it's not your endpoint, it's a great starting point.
Another thing I wanted to bring up something that's been bothering me for a long time. I spent lots of money on advertising with Amazon and Facebook, and even last year I was spending $800 to $1,000 a month on advertising. And as Dr. Bill pointed out, your ratio of your overage, your profit is not that, your sliver is not that big after that. So I finally threw up my hands in October and I said, screw it. I'm just going to go with bare. I don't have a website. That was out of my, and all that email lists and book funnel and all that. I had all that load, but I got rid of it. And I'm going bare, and I'm just going right now for the last 3 months. I've gone without advertising.
You're going commando.
Going commando. And I'm not a
Seinfeld joke.
And I'm not opposed to, advertising, and I'll get back to it. Like David Gogren, that Irish guy, wonderful tutorials on Facebook ads. And, of course, Brian Cohen got me started with the Amazon ads. But I'm doing that. I'm making a profit. So everything I'm making right now is basically profit. And
that's awesome.
And so, but I'm just, I'm here to tell you that you can do it. I mean, it's horrible that I don't have a website. I have my domain name saved, but I don't have a website any longer. And I'm just,
you get pen names, you get like bunny math. It gets exponential. All the things you're trying to manage. You're trying to manage the name, the domain, the website. You're trying to manage all the social media. And then all of the files for all the books, especially if you're wide, it gets real crazy real fast, and you have to simplify.
Yeah, there's so much, and that's the bandwidth I cannot handle. And sometimes you just have to outsource and someone who can help you with some of the stuff. And that's part of the reason why I'm able to do the 18-day web release schedule for the last few weeks. So.
Have you outsourced it to a PA or a VA?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to look different for everybody. The solutions are not going to be the same for each person. You
don't have to use AI for everything. If you don't have the time to figure out how you can automate that yourself, you can just.
I think that's one of the mistakes a lot of the AI haters make, is they assume that AI is only for writing the book, and how dare you replace the writer. Well, number one, we're not replacing the writer. We're augmenting. We're helping the writer. And number two, you do not have to use it for drafts if you don't want to, or for edits or whatever. There are so many ways to implement it and to leverage it for your business. That's just the beginning, is the book. There's so many different ways to do it, and it's getting easier every day. There's so many different solutions to our massive amounts of pain points as indie authors with all these different hats.
And I've got to thank, I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for Elizabeth and Stephanie Pajonas and Stacy and Joseph, all those people in the beginning who got me off the ground. And Joseph would talk to me on the phone day and night when I had tech problems. I'm talking, I'm not a tech person, and he always helped me out. So I would not be here, up this far along if it hadn't been for the FFA holding my hand.
I love this community so much. What they built, we all just help each other until something happen, and you need to figure something out. And
we've got the most amazing brain trust of people, members and staff, and a lot of the staff is. I'm now staff, but I was a member for almost 3 years. A lot of us are coming up in from the membership into the staff, but it's amazing community. And like our coding forum, the stuff that I'm teaching came out of the crowdsourced stuff. It wasn't just my idea. It was everybody working together and figuring out, well, how do we write with coding apps? And is that worth our time? And what kinds of things can we do with it? And so it has been totally a team effort. And there's so much I don't know. And people be like, oh, Kim, how do you do that? Well, I don't know. Go ask Bill, or go ask Amanda, or maybe somebody else in our group knows, because we have retired software engineers, and like I'm former IT. We have got a ton of different backgrounds. I know Ingrid's got a journalism background. We've got all these different, very interesting backgrounds. And Ingrid's got horses. We got a horse question. Go ask Ingrid. But there's like all these different people that have all these different amounts of knowledge, and it's just an incredible brain trust. So it's really unlimited. Let me go back to some of our news. We got a few more things. AI and education. I guess I should make this small enough to fit on the actual screen. There we go. We have a lot of, all the big tech is grabbing, they're reaching for the AI education stuff. Google has been involved with AI education, or not AI, with education for a very long time. The Google Classroom, the Google Chromebooks, we've seen that for what, at least 10 years, maybe 15 now. Well, now they're putting a lot of their products, the AI, into their products, and they're rolling that out. Unfortunately, not for us homeschoolers, but for anyone's got a .edu address can get discounts on their services or free access, like teachers and students. I think they do bulk selling to the school districts. So
Yeah.
Anthropic has got involved in that now. OpenAI, they're all climbing on board. So the takeaway here is that the education systems are embracing these technologies, and the stigma around AI assisted creation is continuing to fade. It was a lot worse last year. The next generation is already learning these technologies. Are you? We can help you here at the FFA. If you're feeling behind, don't worry, there's still time. This is a lot like when people, when the internet came out and not everybody was on it, or when home computers came out. I'm old enough to remember that. I know Ingrid remembers that too. Tiffany,
when the car was invented.
We remember when the dinosaurs were ruling the earth. But all of these advancements, not everybody's on board at first, but we're starting to see a mass adoption of these tools. And we're seeing this now with the younger generations are learning them. So if you haven't learned them yet, it might be a good time and we can help you. You could learn for free here on our channel or sign up for a membership. The links are below. We're happy to help. And we have standalone classes that are kind of a la carte if you're interested in that.
Or you could, if you felt like you didn't want to do all that, just chat. Go to this chat and just write a post in chat. You can do that with your computer.
There are no excuses. There are so many options right now.
Yeah.
In other news, we have Chatty loved to make this little robot, so we're going with this robot. I like him, a little robot AI. In other news, Adobe put a whole bunch more AI in its video tools. I have not had time to check it out. I have a Premiere. It comes with the cloud subscription. So if you are playing with AI video or just video and you have an Adobe cloud subscription, go check it out because they are adding incredible things to their products. They're just as scared as everyone else. They don't want to lose their users, so they have to improve. There was a new open source text-to-speech model that came out that can run on your computer, local AI, if you are savvy and have a big enough, strong enough computer. I think a lot of these often are also offered through OpenRouter. So this is a free option for creating audiobooks or audio versions of your work. So that's something to check out. There is an audio to video AI. This company called Lightrix or LightFX has partnered with 11 Labs, and they have a really cool feature where, say you've made your audio book with 11 Labs, you can create the video that is lip synced to go with it. This would be great for book trailers. So that's worth checking out. I do not know how expensive that is. That just was announced this week. And so I have links. All of these are linked in the notes. Ads are coming to ChatGTP if you are on a free or a Go subscription. I think they've got to find ways to make money. They've been giving away a lot of use for a long time, and it is expensive. So this is their way of doing that. So look for ads to start showing up. And then Claude has also done health integrations, just like we saw OpenAI do. We're seeing this in education. We're seeing this in healthcare. The bottom line is that they will, if you share your information, yes, you get more personalized assistance, but be careful who you're giving your information to. That's a can of worms. So be very careful. Don't be excited to, I can automate this and hand the keys to your kingdom over.
And don't connect all your Google Drive to all the apps that you discover out there, because you could give over your permission to do something to your Google Drive, for example.
Yeah. So be very careful. We're excited about this technology. We want to try it, but think before you click. I got excited about something. It was this summer or last summer. It was an
Yeah, it was
AI.
last summer.
Yeah, I got excited and I was like, oh, I want to try this. And it wanted access to a whole lot of stuff. And in my excitement, I'm former cybersecurity. I know better. In my excitement, I let it have my inbox and a couple other things that I probably shouldn't have done. And I gave it to it. And I was like, okay, let's run this automation. I wanted it to tell me something about my email. It didn't work. And then I realized, Kim, what are you doing? Why did you give all this access to this company that you know nothing about? It would have been different if it was Google. Google's already got all my stuff. So I immediately took back access, wiped that out, deleted my account with that company. It's like H company or something. I'd never heard of it before. Be careful, vet who you are giving access to. The Gemini Google just did a what's it called, personal intelligence thing with Gemini that allows Gemini to access to your email and your Google Drive. That is built into Google. I'm not as hesitant there. You can turn it on and off. You could try it. I did try it. It was very helpful. I don't know if
Yeah, everybody can vibe code their app and do, suspicious things if you give access.
So you have to be just so careful.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, a funny, how about some mushroom-powered computers? Apparently, the scientists at Ohio State University are turning shiitake mushrooms into a working RAM using fungal networks as organic memory devices. These cheap, eco-friendly, and brain-like threads, these what do they call myco
Helium?
Yeah, that's it. Mycelium. Thank you, dear. A mycelium is imitating synapses. They need serious miniaturization before commercial use. The writer takeaway is the future is weird, folks. While we're writing novels with AI, scientists are building computers from groceries. If mushroom-powered computers become a thing, you heard it here first for your next sci-fi plot. So how about that? It does sound cool, though. Mushroom-powered computers.
One thing I wanted to mention, you had asked earlier, what's the motivation and how has AI helped? What's my motivation for even writing? And it's to escape and to laugh and to create a world where I can go away, mentally. I'm not physically going anywhere, but and the AI has just opened everything up exponentially to just, like you said, there's no limit. So that is why I'm really tickled. My idea would be able one day to create a movie out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So that's what I would love to be able to do. Just speak.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's coming. The AI filmmaking is doing great.
Right.
Yes. Foods, fungal future fiction. I love it. That's great.
Yeah, there's so many stories I want to tell. And now, it would take more than 2 lifetimes to tell all the stories I wanted to do if I were a human, type.
I think I lost track of like 100 series ideas that I had. I lost track. I've got so many, it's crazy too. So that's our topic. Is the only limit is you, and we know our guests. So Ingrid writes under, and we can see it right there on the screen. She writes under Amy Simone, KL Bordeaux, and Lark Lone Star, and is also known as the Uptown Writer. And we've got links for Tiffany's books as well. Tiffany, what genres do you write in?
I write in all kinds of genres, but
what do you do?
They all have to have a little bit of romance in there. So it could be sci-fi, it could be fantasy, it could be thriller, or just straight up romance. And I also do some nonfiction work, but I write in different pen names to experiment and
I'm starting to do that too. And then Ingrid, we know you write in all the genres, right?
Yeah.
Right. The things that seem to sell the best are the horse books. I've got lots and lots and lots of horse books in all different genres, but I've been with horses for 60 years. And so that's where I basically use them as I don't know not a wrapper, but I use them. Anyway, I use them for that. And another motivation for me has been KU made me mad when they, or KDP, when they said we could only do 10 books a week. That was their new rule, like late last winter. And that just got under my skin. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna test you guys. And if anything ever happens, I'll just start selling wide. But
so is that your war cry? Well, you tell me I can only do 10 books a week. Well, by golly, I will do 10 books a week.
Yeah. And my husband started me off in November. He said, I bet he tried to do 10 books this month. Well, I did 7, and then I just started cranking. I said, okay, now then KDP's rule was coming online. But I don't understand. I mean, I called them, I asked them, they said that's just the way it is. So you got to go with the flow. But anyway, that was another motivation I like controlling. I'm a control freak. So if this is a place where I can control my world, is in my writing, and the rest of the world can be chaos or whatever, but at least I know what's going on I'm doing what's going on in the story. So
that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna take our notes off so that we can talk. So let's talk about scaling. How did you get to this level of production? Obviously, you didn't start there. You both learned AI and took a while to get used to it and figure out what tools you wanted. Can you all tell me a little bit, each of you, about your journey with AI? Anything you want to say, and how you got to this level?
Tiffany, you want to start?
One step at a time. At the beginning, back in 2021, when Joanna Penn shared her discovery of the AI, and I was like, no, that's cheating. You can't just let the machine write for you. You should type every word. And I forgot about it. And then when ChatGPT came out, I got curious, and then I learned about mega prompting. I read it and I tried it out, and it's really cool. And I can be a movie director. I could never be a movie director because I'm hard of hearing and visually impaired. So I was like, you know what? I can use ChatGPT to direct my stories like a director, and I'll be like, no, that's bad writing. Make it better, and I can tell the actors, the characters to do certain things. But the process was so slow, I gave up. And then months later, I joined the FFA, and I started producing books using the software Retsy, and I was able to start publishing my first one in a matter of weeks. At the time, I produced like 18 books in 2 weeks using Retsy, and that was phenomenal at the time. And ever since then, I've been producing every 2 months using the AI. No, not every month, every month. But before AI, I was publishing every 3 to 6 months.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
And now I'm doing every 18 days. But I'm going to slow. I mean, I need to figure out if I can keep up with that pace. So,
but you're dealing also with vision impairment and hearing impairment, and that has not slowed you down at all. And that is incredible. And so I like to say the only limit is our mindsets. It's like just breaking off those shackles and going, okay, I'm going to find a way to do this.
Yeah.
No matter what challenges we're facing. How about you, Ingrid?
Well, I started writing when I was in first grade, and I was mad at a classmate or something. Then I started writing books about my classmates, and then I wanted a horse, so I wrote books about having a horse. And then when I was 10, I got a horse, and then the rest carried on from there. But that started it, and then I went to journalism grad school, and I wrote journalism for 30 years. And then, not full time, but I was always doing articles that were published, and I was paid for them for 30 years on the side. And I was doing other things to support my horses because I had 6. And so then when 2017 rolled around, and it's kind of like what Tiffany just said about Joanna Penn, I heard about AI. And then I went, did Sudafed. I did Pseudo-Write. And
Sudafed, I love it.
Aye. And Elizabeth Ann West, she just impressed me so much, and she was teaching. And so I followed her, when she moved over and started the FFA. So I followed her over, and then I kept going. When the first time I wrote a book and published it on KDP was 2017 or 2016, somewhere in there. And I wrote 4 other books, and somebody had said, "You're not a real author till you've done at least 1,000,000 words." Well, those I had done already like 500,000 words that I trashed. Okay, I did them on my computer. Okay, and so it would take me I would take to do 3,000 words. It would take me like all day. One heavy day, and my whole body hurt. I did 10,000 words in a day. This is before AI. Okay, after AI, it's quite different. But that was where I kind of got started, and then the ramping up that you're asking about, like Tiffany said, it was so slow, going, and it was very slow. But then the impetus just got under my skin about you get a rhythm going, and then I just like having, and then series. I wanted to talk about series. I have a problem with series, okay, because I forget. And so, of course, you can use AI to help you map your series. So my sweet spot is I'll do a series of 3 to 4, let's call it a limited run. And then, but that will be like a certain barn, or maybe like an old folks home, and they're all out solving mysteries on the walking trail and things like that. But I have some longer series. I have a talking cat detective. He's got 28 books to him, but that's because it's simple. It's just him and his owner, and they travel all over the world, and they get into trouble together. Okay, but series are series Bibles and things like that. That is an art unto itself, and
It is.
And so
I'm in the
that's my
17-book series. No.
Yeah. You were telling me. So that's my sweet spot. It says the 3 to 4 books. I can handle that, and then these other ones I have to be very careful about how the variables. So that the reader doesn't go, well, the readers are going to pick up if you're too conflicted.
Like, well, wait a minute. In book 1, they did blah blah blah, and now you're saying he's this way instead.
Yeah. Yes.
Keeping it all straight by book 5 is really hard. I know this from experience, and I have 2 planets that I'm doing and multiple points of view and fantasy language and crazy stuff in my series. And I was like, why am I so tired by the time I finish a book? It's like, because I have to remember every single person's history that I'm writing about and what happened in this book. And I got way many more. I got 10 more books to do in that series. I'm like, okay, maybe the other series can be shorter.
Right. Damage control.
But one of the things that, one of the main things that I really wanted to talk about today, or at least to say, is that people are using AI to overcome all kinds of life challenges and special needs. We have FFA members and staff with health challenges, with special needs, with financial needs, people who are going through all kinds of different life stages. Maybe they just had a baby, maybe they lost somebody. We have people who are neurodivergent, have autoimmune disorders,
COVID brain fog,
or sight and vision issues. We have people with dyslexia in our group. We have everybody. AI is an equalizer that levels the playing field and helps these authors.
That's right.
Yeah, it does. It helps to start and finish books and to publish them. And it can help you too. With AI, there is no such thing as disability. There is only ability. And I think that is really exciting for the future. Yes, it can be slightly terrifying in the wrong hands, but we're using AI in positive ways here. But I mean, like I remember Elizabeth said when they were trying to create, was it Raptor Write or Plot Drive? It was one of the writing products that we do. She wanted to make sure that people could write in bed because there are days that she can't get out of bed. She has an autoimmune disorder. And she wanted to make sure that people with sight challenges like Tiffany could use it. We have these things built into the things where
you can dictate your book.
Yes, you can dictate. So there are so many ways to do things. We have people on every spectrum and rainbow you can imagine, and they just want to be heard. And this is the time to be heard. The gatekeepers are not holding us back.
We all have a story to tell. Our minds are predisposed to want to tell stories, and being able to use tools allows you to tell the ones that you've always wanted to do. That is in your heart.
But I
That's
have a
great.
warning, kind of a warning for my speaking to myself is my words are not that I don't take myself too seriously, and my words are not that precious because 100
Yeah.
years from now I'm going to be worm food, right?
Yeah, I
So
believe Stepatonos said, it's your ego that's getting in the way if you think AI is cheating or whatever. Because
well, it's not just AI. I mean, I'm just talking about even if I wasn't even in the
Yeah,
picture.
it doesn't have to be
My
perfect.
words are not that precious, and it's sort of like I'm just going to spit this stuff out, and I'm and it really it's 100 years. Get perspective on yourself.
There was a wonderful story. It was in one of these like self-improvement books I read. I think it was Level Up by Rob somebody. I'll find it and put it in the notes. But it was a story I've heard before about they had a class, they did this test, a psychology test, on a class of students who were doing pottery. And for half the students, they said, we want you to make one perfect clay pot, the most perfect clay pot you could ever imagine, the best clay pot in the world. And the other group, they said, we want you to make as many clay pots as you can. We want you to iterate. So they gave them like 6 months. So the one group with the perfect clay pot, they finished theirs. The other group finished theirs. And who do you think had the better quality in the end?
The ones who practiced.
The ones who were iterating, that weren't attached to the end product, they continued to just get better. It's not that we're going to put up with slop. We don't do slop here in the FFA.
Yeah.
But it's this idea that you have to practice in order to get better. And if all the words are precious, you're never going to release them out into the wild.
Yeah.
It's okay if it's not perfect. That is another mindset issue. That is another.
Yeah, I believe Craig Mattel was the one that introduced the idea to me, minimum viable product. It's never going to be perfect, but the more you do it, the better you get. So yes, maybe some of our very first books will be considered AI slop, but hey, you got to get better as you learn the process, as you learn storycraft, and so on and so forth. And the more you do it, the better you get, and the faster you get, and money.
And amen to practicing on marketing. I need more practice on that. That's a weak point for me that I've got to work on. My own journey with AI has been interesting. One of my besties, Nadine Travers, who is in the audience, she and I go back to self-publishing school days when we both wanted to write. We weren't sure how to become an indie author. We both took this class and met in 2015 and have been accountability partners ever since. And we're both write urban fantasy. So we've always been, bouncing ideas off of each other. And she went and she was the one that dragged me into AI and said, you got to see what I can do with this. You can do it too. And you need to check this out. And this Elizabeth Ann Westgal and Pseudo-Write is doing stuff. This was before, way before Future Fiction Academy. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was on a deadline or something. I didn't pay attention. And then later I came back. I'm like, oh my gosh, you can do anything with this. This is exciting. I like stayed up all night playing with it. I couldn't go to sleep. I was so excited. And so we both.
Yeah, I love playing with all the shinies.
Oh, the big shiny. So we both ended up in the FFA, and the rest is history. But we still are accountability partners, and we're still, figuring it out together. And it's great to be able to figure it out in a bigger group too. It's good to have, close friends who you can bounce things off of, but also a group.
Which reminds me, I've got like a small team of I have a small beta reader team, and then my husband is kind of my cover artist, critic, and so it's a lean, mean little team. Very lean, awesome. Very mean. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. The other thing that I was going to talk about, sometimes our life stages limit us from being able to write and publish. And, that may be on one side, that may be having a baby. And AI can help you on that side with maybe dictation and other ways to get your ideas down when you don't have a lot of time. For me, it was grief and travel. About 2 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and given 2 days to 2 weeks to live. And I was in the Midwest in a very abusive relationship and was homeschooling my kids on top of it. And we picked up and we went to see. I was like, I'll be darned if I'm gonna miss my last moments with my dad. So we came out and we're just ready to deal with anything that we had to face. And we actually got, instead of 2 weeks, we got 10 with him. And during that time, it was just crushing. And because my marriage was crumbling, everything's crumbling. I'm trying to keep my kids afloat. We're trying to, we're in a different place. We're on the East Coast. My dad's dying. My mother is having trouble. We've got electrical and plumbing and car issues going off all at the same time.
Were you still writing? Were you still writing through all that?
I was trying to write. I took a break from the FFA for a little bit. I'm like, I got everything going on. I'll be back. I did art. I did AI art and I did Photoshop. I made probably 20 or 30 covers during that time. I couldn't write. I didn't know if I would ever write again because I was so crushed by everything happening. My dad passed away right before Christmas in 2023. And then we had so much to deal with. I did not know when I was going to have my next book out, if I was going to have another book out. I came back to FFA and, just slowly got back on my horse. And I did publish in 2024. And now I'm sitting on a stack of 40 more books that need to be published.
But we've all got something we can use until our brains don't work anymore.
I'm not sure when I'll be able to write about the things I went through, but AI was there for me. It helped me organize my scattered thoughts for my 6th Black Cat book, which I wasn't sure that would ever come out. I'm now on the 7th one. I'm having trouble with that one because in the book, the hero becomes king. Well, obviously he's inheriting the throne. His parents are gone. And I can't write that yet because my mother is going to have surgery next month and I cannot write my hero losing his parents. And so I'm like, that's okay. We're going to shift. We're going to write other things right now. And when I get past that, when I feel better about it, I will write that. But AI has been there for me, helping me sort my thoughts out and helping me publish these other series that I never thought I would be writing. So it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah, I love using the AI to help organize my thoughts too. Like, I suspect I may have ADHD and I just can't figure out what I need to do the next. So I'm like, okay, AI, here's what's going on and what are the strategies I can do, and I decide based on the suggestions, and maybe it'll spark an idea and can try something different, or schedule how it should go. Because I want to do edit a book in 2 days, but realistically it actually took me 6 days. So I told the AI, this happened. And the AI is like, okay, you need to be soft on yourself and not try to do too fast.
But as a coach, this is wonderful. I love coach. But 6 days is still great. I mean, there's stuff that used to take me 6 months that takes 6 days now.
Yeah, that is so true. And also, we have to balance playing with Shiny and publish, because there was a time when I was playing with the AI and being at the FFA, and I was learning all the stuff, but I was not publishing anything. But I need to publish.
Yes. And that's, I think, especially if you have a high learner in your Clifton strengths, it's a way of procrastinating. Same with input. I know a high input, Nadine. I know some high inputs, and it's the same thing with me. I'm a number one strategic. I love to make battle plans for everything. And then do I follow them? No, I do something totally different. But I like to have my plans. I need my plans.
So Tiffany, what are your plans for the year, like production wise?
I'm going to launch a new pen name in the second quarter, and slow down a little bit as I figure out how I'm going to do my release strategy. Because, like I said, I don't know if I can retain the 18-day, because the reason I'm able to do that is because I produced 4 or 5 books back in October, and I've just been slowly working at it and setting things up with my PA and all that stuff. And now I'm on the book that I thought finished is not finished. So I'm like, oh no, I have a deadline.
I'm still going to try to bump up against the KDP the thing about 10 books a
So-
week. I'm going to work on that and maybe do Facebook advertising.
If you did 10 books a week, you'd have $520. You would be like a small, you're already like a small publishing house. You'd be a big publishing.
Well,
Yeah.
and I'm talking 20 to 70,000 words. Yeah.
Yeah, mine is
Variety-
like
variety
30,
of
40,000.
And Mord says you can get an exception to the limit.
I asked, but maybe I need to call and ask again. You always get different stories, whoever you call. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna call
that's
again.
true. That's
But thank
true.
you, Kim, for putting us on.
Oh, you're welcome. So yeah, I mean, all of this goes to the heart of why we write. Writing is hard, but it's rewarding, and we want our voices to be heard. And now is the absolute best time to be an author. There are so many tools that can help us, no matter what challenges you're facing. The only limits are up here. They're in our minds. Can't lives in our heads, but it's only true if you believe it. I mean, remember all the gatekeepers that we had before indie publishing. Remember a world before the internet or before computers. How about before the printing press? We've come a long way, baby, and we have a long way to go. One last point I wanted to make on this was I actually have a graphic. Hold on a second. Let me put us down here again. Do this
Plus,
quick.
I like making money and taking my husband.
Money
out
is
to eat.
good too. We like that.
Mhm.
We can ride the AI wave. What are we talking about? There is this excellent book that I have been harping on for the last 2 years. It's called AI Writer by Matt Garcia. It's a short book. It's in KU, and it is definitely worth your time to read. It describes the upheavals we're seeing right now with chilling accuracy, along with some hard truths about what is coming. This is a different, we have the Industrial Revolution. We have all these different, we had the Renaissance. We have all these different things that flip the narrative. The AI revolution is different. It is going to affect every industry, not just some of them. It's already here, and it is wiping out some jobs, but like we said, it's also creating entirely new ones. It's unlike previous periods of upheaval, but those who learn to use AI effectively in their industry can ride this wave and weather the coming changes. Those who don't are going to get left behind. FFA is the place for writers and publishers to learn how to ride the wave. Matt advises find whoever's in your industry who is leveraging the AI and get working on it. Learn how to do it, because that's going to help insulate you from some of the changes that are coming. And FFA, there's nobody else doing what we're doing. There are a few people trying, but I don't think they're as far out on the cutting edge as we are. Yeah, I love that book too. It's one of my favorites, and I harp on it all the time. It's not expensive. Go buy the book. Go check it out from a library, something. So what's coming up in our lab? We have an anonymous AI success story I have to read real quick, ladies. Sorry. I know we're running a little long, but it's okay. One of our newer members sent this wonderful testimony in, and I want anybody who's found AI is helping them, feel free to send a testimony into Dean at futurefictionacademy.com. Just say attention Kim or attention Ink and Code. I would love to have your success stories. We'd love to read them on the air.
Yeah.
So this member says, I don't call myself an author. I never really have. I'm a creator, a storyteller, someone who's always had a head full of ideas, but struggled to get them onto the page. The funny thing is, somebody's dog. The funny thing is, I actually failed English at school and honestly didn't do particularly academically overall. Traditional education just wasn't there. Let me make this bigger. Traditional education just wasn't there where I thrived. Hello, ADHD. I'm ADD, not HD, but I understand that. But the ideas and stories, they were always there. AI changed that for me. It gave me a way to translate what's in my head into words without the process feeling impossible. It doesn't create my stories, but it helps me express them and bring them to life where I would have previously gotten a little stuck. I currently write under more than 10 pen names. Oh my gosh. Across different genres. Some are serious long-term projects. Others are experiments where I test market styles and tropes. I learn by doing, adjusting, and improving as I go. You go, that is the way. I've mostly worked for myself, and after being diagnosed with a chronic illness, that flexibility became essential. A traditional job isn't realistic for me anymore. So being able to write books and earn from them isn't just a creative outlet, it's my livelihood. Right now, I earn enough to cover one fortnightly mortgage payment. My goal is to grow that into covering all my bills and eventually having some financial breathing room. Am I the next J.K. Rowling or Stephen King? Heck no, and I don't need to be. My beta readers, ARC readers, and everyday readers respond positively to my books, and that matters far more to me than numbers. I am not chasing fame or bestseller lists. I'm chasing sustainability.
Here, here.
Yeah, I consider this a success because I've built something real while learning as I go. I found a way to tell stories despite failing English, despite illness,
Wow.
and despite not fitting into traditional paths. Yay, girl
Wow.
or guy.
That's wonderful.
AI didn't give me talent or ideas. It gave me access. That is really important. It told to create what was there. And that's success to me.
That's beautiful.
Isn't
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's what it's about, people. The only limit is yourself. It is the voice in your head. Dean Wesley Smith has an amazing course on the critical voice. If you need help with that, go check out that course. I've taken it. It's wonderful. He's not a big AI fan, but man, he's great with writing. He's great for craft. But that is what it's about. It's about breaking the chains, the shackles on your own mind and getting out there, doing things you've never done.
Get out of the way of yourself.
Yes, get out of your own way. Briefly, because we're running long, in a lab, we are formatting with IDEs. This was a pain point for me.
I'm so excited. I've been wanting to make a, app to format my books because currently I use Draft to Digital platform to format my books because I can't afford like the Vellum or Atticus. So I need a pretty way to do that. So
I have both. And my pain point on this Lit RPG series was it didn't format the system messages right. This must be a problem with Lit. This is the first Lit RPG book I've written. So I was like, well, doggone it, I'm not going to be held back. I'm going to go and get So we're going to talk all about that. And I have screenshots. It's hard to see, but if you look at the notes that are down there, you can see that I was able to get my system messages looking pretty good. So I'm very excited about that.
I love that cover.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. This was chat. Let's see. This was anti-gravity help with the concept art. ChatGPT did a really good job on the base image, and then I edited a lot in Photoshop too. So it was a process, but this book was almost entirely done in anti-gravity, even the editing. So we're showing all of this in the after lab parties of what I'm doing, and the reason is it's not the Kim show. It's us show. It's all of us. I want to show how we can take things that are problems and turn them into assets, and how we can automate problems and go, okay, how can I do this better or faster? I have 4 more books in this series to put out. I needed a solution for my formatting that would work so that I could do it quicker. And I've got 40 more. After this series, I've got 35 more books I need to put out, and that's not counting new stuff I'm writing. So I want ways that are going to speed up the pipeline. And so that's what this is about. So we're going to be talking about that. We have some great classes. Oh, look, cute robots. We love cute robots. These are some of some cool stuffy stuff that you can check out. I have done some basic courses on using IDEs for writing. We also have narrative physics engine. We've got Claude projects. There's some brilliant stuff. So check them out. We don't have any coupons going on right now. We have regular sales. And we can get them. You can get them all for free if you come play in the FFA. Your membership. Oops, sorry, I'm going all over the place here. Your membership. I'm trying to make this smaller, but it's not letting me because it's being difficult. Your membership includes all of the classes. I think almost everything. I think there may be a
There's
couple
so much.
There-
No, it's going to be like a fire hose, but you need to pace yourself as you work your way through it and come to all the, the lab sessions and the small groups. The small groups are so much fun and can have all kinds of discussion that you can't find anywhere else.
That's right. So we're going to leave on that note. Thank you, ladies, so very much for being
You're welcome. Thank you for having us. And don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell.
Yes. And please feel free to come back on anytime. We want to
Yeah.
hear how you're doing. We love the success stories. And for everybody else, please send in your success stories. DM me or email dean@futurefictionacademy.com. We would love to hear them, and we'll have more on this in the future.
Thank
Have
you,
a
Tim.
great Saturday. You are welcome. Thank you so much.
Bye,
And we are
Tiffany.
going to end with our Ink and Code theme, because that's our war cry, right? Our battle cry. Have a great week. See you in the after party in the lab room, everybody who's members.
Yes.
They carved their names in wax and stone, spilled ink on scrolls they called their own. Then came presses hot and loud, voices finally unbound. Now it's keys instead of quills, white screens echo silent thrills. Every age has its dissenters, but I was made to bend the mill. You say slow down, write it like we did, but I've got a wildfire under my eyelids. Evolution doesn't knock, it crashes, and I'm already past the ashes. The future writes in ink and code. Don't tell me how the story's told. You can stay in sepia dreams, but I'm chasing silver beams. This pen's electric, this plotline bites. We don't wait, we ignite. You can guard the gates, you know, but the future writes in ink and code. Used to call it art, now they call it cheap, but I'm still sweating over every beat. The tools have changed, the heart has not. I bleed the same, just on a different plot. Some still build with rust and rope, but I've got neural nets and hope. I'm not here to ask permission, I'm the shift you couldn't stop. Said that's not real, that's not pure, but they forget fire made books endure. And every rebel with the screen is part of the next great library machine. The future writes in ink and code. Don't tell me how the story's told. You can stay in sepia dreams, but I'm chasing silver beams. This pen's electric, this plotline bites. We don't wait, we ignite. You can chain yourself to old echoes, but the future writes in ink and code. From monks in towers with aching hands to basement poets with startup plans, from parchment prayers to algorithm sparks, we've always written in the dark. Now the dark just answers back. The future writes in ink and code. I'm not slowing down this road. You can preach about the craft, but I've got a better map. With every keystroke, every phrase, I'm blazing through this golden phase. History whispers you're too bold, but the future writes in ink and code.
Dear past, thanks for the legends.